Imagine a vibrant college town, filled with young people ready to begin the best chapter of their lives. Now, imagine that dream transformed into an open-air morgue in less than 72 hours. What happened in Gainesville, Florida, in August 1990, wasn't just a series of crimes. It was a performance of pure evil that defied human understanding and served as the inspiration for the Scream franchise. The man behind these atrocities didn't just want to kill, he wanted the world to watch his trail of mutilation and horror. Prepare yourself as we dive into the files of Danny Rolling, the Gainesville Ripper, on a journey where reality surpasses any horror movie. The atmosphere in Gainesville during that last week of August was one of optimism, with thousands of students returning to the University of Florida for the start of classes. However, beneath the humid state heat, something sinister lurked in the student apartments, watching the movements of innocent youths who had no idea that evil already held a key to their doors. On August 24th, the silence of a condominium was shattered by the discovery of the bodies of Sonia Larson and Christina Powell, marking the beginning of a trauma that would never heal in the memory of that community. The crime scene was something even the most experienced investigators had never witnessed in their entire careers, revealing a level of sadism that went beyond common murder. The victims were not just stabbed, they were positioned by the killer in a ritualistic and grotesque manner, as if they were part of an artistic display of death. The use of a Macabre military hunting knife indicated that the attacker possessed specific training and brutal strength, making it clear that Gainesville was facing a highly dangerous predator. While the police were still trying to process the horror of the first apartment, the body of Krista Hoyt was found the following day, raising the city's dread to levels never seen before. Rolling didn't just take Krista's life, he performed a post-mortem mutilation that left officers in absolute shock. He decapitated her and placed her head on a bookshelf, facing the body. This level of cruelty sent a direct message to the authorities. The killer was in total control and took pleasure in the staging of others' suffering. Panic spread like a wildfire, turning sunny Gainesville into a ghost town where students armed themselves with kitchen knives and slept in groups. Hardware stores sold out of deadbolts and locks in mere hours, and the sound of police helicopters became the constant soundtrack of a desperate manhunt. No one felt safe, for the enemy was invisible, acting in the shadows of the night and vanishing without a trace, as if he were a specter fueled by collective fear. Danny Rolling, the man who would later be identified as the perpetrator of these acts, was no stranger to violence. Having grown up in an environment of severe abuse at the hands of his father, this turbulent childhood shaped a fragmented and vengeful personality, where he sought to exert the power he never had through acts of extreme domination. He saw himself as a character in a tragic opera, where the pain of others was the fuel for his own relevance in a world he felt had rejected him. The evil that inhabited Danny Rolling was not born overnight, but cultivated through years of silent resentment, transforming an ordinary man into a monster capable of rituals that defy any logical or medical explanation. Florida became the stage for his vengeance against the happiness of others, where every knife stroke was a scream of hate echoing through the empty halls of dormitories that were once full of laughter, now stifled by blood and horror. He sought not just the end of life, but the complete destruction of his victim's dignity in the face of eternity. The body count was not over yet, and on August 27th, 2 more victims were found. Tracy Pauls and Manuel Taboada, a young man who tried to fight bravely against the intruder. Manuel was the only male among the Gainesville victims, killed by Rolling so he could reach Tracy without interruption, maintaining the pattern of sexual assaults and mutilations. The death of 2 students in the same apartment proved that Rolling did not fear physical resistance, acting with a predatory confidence that suggested prior experience in violent and stealthy acts. The investigation took dramatic turns when authorities began cross-referencing data from similar crimes in other states, leading to a triple homicide that occurred in Shreveport, Louisiana. Forensics discovered that the DNA and fingerprints left in Gainesville matched a man already in custody for a common bank robbery, but no one suspected his true nature. Danny Rolling was finally linked to the crimes, revealing that he was a drifter who camped in the woods near the university, living like a wild animal while planning his attacks. During the trial, Rolling's figure shocked the courtroom not only for his crimes but for his bizarre behavior, which included singing folk songs he wrote himself about his acts. He claimed to possess an alternate personality named Yancey, who was supposedly responsible for ordering the murders, an attempt to use insanity as a defense to avoid execution. However, prosecutors were relentless, describing him as a malignant narcissist who planned every detail with military precision to obtain the infamy he so desperately craved. The connection between reality and fiction became evident when screenwriter Kevin Williamson watched a TV special about Rolling's crimes, which inspired him to write the script for Scream. The concept of a killer who terrorizes a town and uses staging to shock the community came directly from the macabre exhibitionist tactics used by the Gainesville Ripper. Rolling turned real life into a slasher horror film where victims were chosen at random just to fulfill the requirements of his sick power fantasy. The execution of Danny Rolling took place in 2006, but the impact of his crimes continues to be studied by criminologists and haunts the survivors of that generation of students in Florida. The legacy of pain he left behind is a constant reminder that real monsters do not wear rubber masks. They live among us, often passing unnoticed until the first blow is struck. The story of Gainesville is the darkest chapter of the Sunshine State, where the sun set for 5 young people whose names must never be forgotten. The trail of destruction left by the Gainesville Ripper is an open scar in American criminal history, proving that the human mind can descend to depths of depravity that fiction can barely portray with fidelity. The victims, young people full of dreams, became symbols of an innocence lost in the middle of a swamp of evil, while their executioner's name remains a somber warning about the monsters that walk in the light of day. May the silence that followed his execution bring the smallest measure of peace to the families who lost everything. Justice may have been served with the final sentence, but the echo of the screams from 1990 still resonates in the swamps, reminding us that vigilance is the price of safety in a world where evil can be hidden in the neighbor next door. Danny Rolling is gone, but the fear he planted continues to bloom in every locked door and every suspicious glance, proving that certain terrors never truly die. They only change shape and wait for the next shadow to fall. This story is a brutal reminder that the safety we feel in our homes can be fragile in the face of a disturbed mind. Do you remember the shock these murders caused at the time? Or did you already know the real connection between Danny Rolling and the movie Scream? If this deep account touched you or informed you, don't forget to leave a like to support the channel and, most importantly, subscribe now to continue exploring the darkest files of true history with me.